I don't even know what the numbers are. So no, I'm guessing too. So I don't know what the numbers
are. That's even better. You probably saw something more than just what you shared with me, though, right?
Huh?
You probably saw something better than what I saw.
I don't know. I don't think so. Like
after the numbers you showed me.
Oh yeah. Numbers. Yeah, Josh gave me some numbers yesterday. So
okay, so you know better. You know much more than I do.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, we're live.
We started recording about 2 minutes ago, in the middle of the argument. Yeah. So Manny was just asking about how our promotion went this week. So I did a 3-day promotion with Quasi from the Profitable Programmer, and so that was the offer was for a $497 course, and we marked it down to $397 and did a 3-day sale. I sent 8 emails, so yeah, 2 on day 1, 2 on day 2, and then 4 on the final day. And so Manny, what are your predictions here?
Okay, 8 emails.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck. All right, Chuck's here, so we can all talk about the predictions here.
Manny's trying to do predictions on how our campaign that went this week for the Profitable Program.
How many people did you mail it out to? Everyone?
No, 54,000. So we have a chunk of the list that is still working through the first few weeks after anyone joins. They're on the Plinko machine, so they're getting our regular sales emails.
Figured.
And they don't get So it's about 20,000 people right now are on that. So 53,000 or 54,000 is the number.
I'm going to say 1% of the list. If 1% of the list bought, that's 540 people. That's coming to around 397 was the price point?
Yeah, 397.
So around 20,000. Okay, so I'm going to take 25K.
25K. All right.
Gross.
So all right. So what happened was we ended up.
Chuck, you want to take a guess?
Is Josh just going to tell us?
I will, yeah, eventually, but.
Well, I think you got your math. You said 1%. If 1% bought,
yeah, your math.
That would have been 200,000.
250K.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I got it way off the ballpark here.
You have to carry the 1.
I'm still taking 25K for some reason.
Right.
Good with 25K.
Right. So we ended up getting around close to about 3,500 clicks, and just about a 2% conversion rate. I think it was like a 1.8% conversion rate on clicks to purchases. So the total haul for the whole thing was just under 30K.
Okay.
Oh.
So Manny was right. We did 80 total transactions, and then there were some upsells in there, which boosted the revenue a little bit. And yeah, so it ended up being like, I think it was closer to it was around 0.2% of the list of the total list that we mailed to. Which is, for a higher ticket price that is not, a name brand thing that we did. And then the other big factor, and I've decided that the only way that we're going to be able to do anything that grosses more than 30 to 40 to 50K is we need to have a product that hits our entire list. I've done, the most recent survey I did showed that about 2/3 of our list is corporate developers who already have a job. This course really was about how to get started as a web developer with Python. So that's hitting the beginner part of our list. And anytime we carve off a slice like that, it's going to be 30 to 50K is the absolute best case scenario, regardless of the price point. It's just, that's just the nature of it. So, so the clicks were a little bit lower than.
So 3,500 clicks, you said?
Yeah, 3,500. So that's actually not a whole lot different than what we saw, Manny.
Yeah.
And it's actually significantly lower than Thinkful for some reason, which surprises
me. It is
me.
different. Well, we got 2,600 clicks or 2,700 clicks because we only did a 2-day promotion. But yeah, if we had done 3 days, it probably would have been the same.
Well, so that's maybe. But so one thing I observed.
But
And
you
this
sent
is
8
why,
emails, and we did what, 4, 5?
yeah, I think we did 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that would have driven it up a little bit. But the email. So I'm sticking with my 2-day promotion from now on. I'm just going to do more emails in
Okay.
those 2 days because, so we had 80 total. No, if we had 98 total transactions, including the upsells, only 18 of those came on day 2.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, how many on day 1?
It was a little bit more than that. I think it was like 20.
That's the thing.
So basically,
Momentum.
it's the deadline. We got 65% of the revenue came in at the deadline.
But you got that many higher clicks. So even if people were getting exposed to the product first day, second day, you gave them time to get exposed to the product. And so they literally more people got exposed, more people were able to actually check it out. So I think getting 3,500 clicks compared to 2,600 clicks that we got last time, it's literally like 1,200. I mean, the fact that people are being exposed to it, people are seeing this again and again. It's like the marketing thing, right? The repetition is building that trust, building that possibility of them buying. So I don't think the 3 days thing is that bad.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, because especially on something like this, they're getting the exposure on the second day. Like that increase in clicks does indicate that. And then, I mean, had we not had the middle day,
Here,
it's possible
I can
we had
actually
a lower
tell
revenue.
you. I mean, let's look at how many clicks we actually got from those middle emails. I'm curious, actually. But I mean, we did like the
in permission marketing, huh?
We did more. Okay, so let me see here. Let's see. So March 27th. So we only got, it was about 1,200 clicks from the extra 2 emails that I sent. Well, no, it was less than 1,000 clicks from the extra 2 emails that I sent. And I don't know how many of those people clicked another email, if that makes sense. So,
but the thing is, like, the more exposure they're getting over time, the more they are likely to buy that product.
It probably does. I'm sure it generates a few extra sales. I just don't think it's worth the extra hassle.
Well, most of these internet marketers do like 7-day sales, 7-day.
Yeah, I know, and
launches,
they all complain that nobody buys until the last day.
But they also realize that it's a process of building exposure, right? I think in Permission Marketing, Seth Godin talks about the idea that the most expensive thing in marketing is frequency, right? Especially when it's interrupt marketing. That's the most powerful thing in marketing, frequency. He literally says that again and again. Frequency is the most powerful thing in marketing. The more you appear to the customer, the more likely they will buy. And in interrupt marketing, ad-based marketing, that's very expensive to do. But when it comes to permission marketing and emails you're sending out, it becomes infinitely cheaper. So that's why permission marketing is so freaking dangerous, because you increase the frequency of you showing your thing to the customer again and again and again and again and again. So it's hard to tell just the numbers, but the fact that you got that many clicks, even if it wasn't from day 2, but day 3, they were like, okay, freaking guy has been talking about this for a while now. Let me take a look.
Well, so the other thing too, though, that could be a factor is that gosh, I need to find a way to test this.
Yeah, I mean, we could split it into the email into 2 groups, and then
split it into what we have to do. We'd have to split it into 2 groups and then do 2 separate products, right? Same product. No, 2 separate products, meaning like just so it's 100% bulletproof. We're sending 2 separate emails to same product, different sales page, different product in your if we did it with you, different product with Thrivecart.
What do you mean? Oh, different product.
Just so that we know, like, if they bought this, it belongs to this, because otherwise there's always, like, if you don't do it that way, there's always like some doubt. Like you always realize afterwards, like, oh crap, I forgot to track this, and now it like invalidates the whole thing. But the thing too is that the more emails you send, the more the open rates drop. So by doing the so my day 3 emails I sent out. Okay, so the day 1 emails, the first email got so the first 2 emails got 18% and 16% open rates. The second 2 got 14 and 16, and then the critical day 3 emails got 12, 12, 11, 11, and 6.3. Or no, so that's today. Sorry, yeah. So people are starting to tune it out too. So there's kind of a
another thing to test, which is what the internet marketers do well, is instead of sending 8 emails over 3 days, maybe you send those 8 emails over a longer period, because you're not doing daily emails anyways. So if you send them over a longer period, again, it's exposure. Again, them having visibility to that product again and again over a 5-day period, so they don't feel like, oh shit, same email again. I mean, how many emails is going to send me in a one day compared to, okay, well, a new email today, tomorrow.
When I've done, yeah, I know, I don't know. When I've done the longer emails, like, you don't get any sales in the middle. So the only question is how effective is the repeat exposure? That's really the only question.
Yeah.
Because you don't get we didn't get, like, even yesterday, we had 50 sales at like dinner time yesterday. So we made nearly 50% of our sales came in the last 8 hours.
Yeah, I think as direct response marketers, we're very used to just looking at this and the number and the result, right? While if you go to the other side of marketing, they're only worried about exposure, like
right.
reach and frequency. Right. So I think the frequency also matters. We don't really give it any credence because we want to see numbers. This has to correspond to a number, while that, like, there's no, just like John's video.
Yeah, in this case, it's a pretty easy thing to
but
test.
I don't think it's measurable, right? Yeah, testable, but not measurable that easily.
Yeah.
But with the tests, yeah, probably figure out the numbers.
It's like going into a fight and fighting the opponent who has just fought 4 opponents ahead of time. So, like, he's not fresh, right? It's like you don't know how much your someone already softened him up, right? And that's like those middle days might be the softening up emails. We don't know. Like, he's still going down in the final round, but did you need those middle rounds or not? Like, that's the question, right? Like, were they softened up already for the sale at the end? I don't know.
Or even the fight itself, if you think about it, it's saying that only the last round matters. Well, all the rounds matter. It's just that last round you got him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could test it by splitting up the email list and trying a 3-day versus a 2-day. Actually, it would be better to try like a 4 or 5 day versus a 2-day, honestly, to see what the...
Yeah, same number of emails, maybe even same emails, just to see what happens if you split them over 5 days compared to just do them over 2 days. See what kind of results you get.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Because we could basically just do a 5-day series where it was like 1 email a day and then 2 emails on the last day, and then versus 6 emails in 2 days.
Yeah.
I would bet money on the 6 emails in 2 days. The other thing I'm gonna look at is how many people opened, like, try to get an idea of how many people opened multiple emails. Because it's a very small number. That's why sending more emails is advantageous, because you get smaller open rates overall, but
bigger reach.
Yeah. So
maybe it's also worth thinking about how, if you could just hit the people who opened and not hit others in the last few emails.
Well, the thing is, though, that's not really going to help much, because the people that are opening the subject lines are all different. The opens are 100% determined by the subject lines, and nobody, you don't all, like, people can't, like, I hit in the subject lines, I hit different angles on purpose. Like I hit, how to get freelancing clients, how to learn more effectively. Like I hit like all these different hot buttons in the subject lines. So there's not a reliable like segment. I'm not building a reliable segment there by doing that. If I had like, I could go back and retroactively do a segment where everyone who is interested in Python potentially, and only send to those people, but there's not really a good way to do it inside a campaign like this. The other thing that was interesting was that, and I still think that when we did our confidence, or the self-confidence one, or however we pitched that. So when you were nervous about it early on, I still think that lowering the price did not help as much as it looked like it did, because with this one, we were like 12 hours in, I think, and we'd only made like 10 sales or 12 sales, and the conversion rate was like 0.4%. And then over at the more emails I sent, that conversion rate kept going up, and then at the end it hit almost 2%. Like the conversion rate that you see early in a campaign like this is not what you end up with. It's not like people are it's not like a pay-per-click campaign where if you see a 0.3% conversion rate, that's going to be consistent as long as that traffic in the ad doesn't change.
Well, we actually did real-time analysis. So John and I actually did that real time.
I know,
changed the price during the hour to see what happens.
Yeah, I know, but
the numbers were going up and down in the hour.
But yeah, I know. I think that's completely invalid though, because because what happens is like nobody bought anything. This email went out. Nobody bought anything until noon or like 1 o'clock when it was lunchtime, and then we got like 10 sales in an hour, and we didn't change anything.
Yeah, so Josh is saying that the EPC would have gone up regardless of us changing the price.
Our EPC started at like $2 and ended at $6.25.
And again, this is the same theory we were talking about, Manny, as the rounds in the fight, right? The longer you go into the fight, the more likely there will be a knockout. So
yeah.
So I think so. It's really hard to judge that. I mean, I think making the price drop. We did see an immediate change there, probably because it was so quick.
I mean, we saw that right away in our testing. Our EPC was dropping,
but it doesn't mean it would have gone up anyway, though.
1 and 2 p.m. and then 2 and 3 p.m. You could see 1 and 2 p.m. we were offering 39, and then we went to 29, and literally it went up by 50%. The EPC, I saw the overall revenue went up, not just EPC is overall revenue, I guess.
Yeah,
what I saw was that the sales were coming in big spikes, and it wasn't even correlated to emails. I think it's just like sometimes people don't want to buy something at work, or they can't buy it right when the email comes out, and they wait, and then you get a big bunch of sales that all come in at once. So you kind of have to you either have to A/B test the funnel, or you test the full promotion all the way through. And then you can calculate your numbers after the full promotion runs, because otherwise, if you're changing things midway, I think definitely adding the upsell and the in-cart bump like that was valid, like that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure on the price. That may or may not have helped.
It's hard to say too. Like it also depends, right? I mean, there's so many variables here. One of them is the possibility that when we did the promotion for Manny's product, that's like an impulse buy, the price level,
that is
and
true.
we may have dropped it down to the impulse buy price, whereas a $300-$400 product is not at all an impulse buy. It's going to be a lot less price sensitive. In fact, we might have been able to sell it for $600 or $700. Like it might not have made that much of a difference, because if you're making that decision to plop down that money, it's an actual decision process. Whereas to buy something that's sub $50 is probably just like a impulse buy.
And that's why you're getting sales at those times, like lunchtime or dinner time, because that's when people have the time to process this kind of information. While for my product, it's like, don't need to process $29. Fuck it, you just buy it.
Yeah.
Well, so I did. I'm doing a test right now of the JavaScript Launchpad pricing, So we had that price. We have it priced at $99, and then we were doing we were doing a sale, knocking it down to $79, so like a $20 off. And so I tested that. I'm testing it right now at knocking it all the way down to $29, and it's helping. Like it's helping. It's increased the conversion rate quite a bit, but the actual earnings per click is it's a pretty small. It's like a 25% bump. So I don't think, like, what we saw with that pricing was that we went it was like 80 cents a click, and then you changed the price and it jumped up to like almost $3, I think. And wow. I don't think that was, I think that was just due to the campaign getting rolling. I don't think that much, that the price, usually price changes like this, in my experience, are more like the 20-25% range in either direction, not like orders of magnitude.
But 25% is huge, man.
Yeah, it's worth testing. I'm not saying it's not significant, like, but it's
15K to 20K in some.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, we should definitely test that next time. Maybe we could rerun the productivity campaign or something.
Yeah.
Almost as is, and just test it and see.
Well, we got to do the bump and the upsells on this time.
Well, yeah.
Because
yeah.
We'll get to. I was just talking to John about it. I think we're doing $6 EPC. We should probably be able to get to 8 or 9, even maybe 10 if we do it right, because we're able to get 50% up on the mental toughness one just from the bumps and the upsell. So
right,
especially if we make it a little more sophisticated funnel this time, not just one bump and one upsell.
Yep. So the other thing that came out of this is that John, I'm officially declaring our career guide lead magnet experiment a colossal failure.
Really?
Yeah. So I took of the 80 sales that we got, I was able to map 67 of those to existing subscribers. And I went back and I looked at what lead magnet they signed up for. And only 3 of the purchases came from people who signed up in 2018.
Really?
So yeah, so that's like
that's insane.
And then only 1 of those came from someone who signed up for the career guide lead magnet. And
wow.
Then for 2017, we got 12 people that signed up for the career guide, and that's how they came in. But they were almost like 8 or 9 of them were people that had subscribed before the book launch.
Interesting.
So they were signing up from the landing pages that we set up for the book versus signing up for it on the website. So like I've been pretty skeptical all along. Like it basically doubled our conversion rate when we put that as a lead magnet. I've just have been struggling to prove that those people will buy anything anything similar to what we'd seen before. And I think for me, this is kind of the nail in the coffin. So I'm testing now, just putting the 5 learning mistakes, because the 5 learning mistakes course, aside from was pretty much the best of all the lead magnets. Like we had people that signed up for that in 2016 that bought.
Yeah.
So I'm testing going back to that and just seeing what that does to our opt-ins, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna test, like we talked about going through the book and pulling all the pulling out some of the most popular chapters and testing those as topical lead magnets. So I'm going to do that, and maybe I can build a product or an email course off of that so that we can get the revenue. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, people that sign up for that, like they don't buy the book. Like the theory was, if we put them on a drip sequence where they get a chapter of the book every week, they're going to be more likely to buy the book. They're like 3 times less likely to buy the book, and they're not buying anything else either. So it's like, I've looked at now multiple affiliate campaigns, and it's been the same story. I just was trying to give it some more time.
Yeah.
But I've looked at this for the past few affiliate campaigns. Manny's thing, it was the same deal. Like they just didn't buy.
So these are people who are coming as a lead magnet they're getting the free book for free.
Well, they're getting put on the email, like the get a chapter per week drip campaign, which goes
For how
on
long?
for a year plus. It's 60 chapters.
Oh man.
So, but they're getting all kinds of other emails too. That's not the only thing they're getting, but for whatever reason that, and I don't think it's the campaign itself. I think if we gave them the PDF of the book, it would be the same deal. Like, I don't think it's the delivery. I think it's just for some reason that
How many people are on
trigger.
that?
I don't know. I'd have to look, but probably like somewhere between 30 and 40,000, maybe. I don't know. Like,
No.
a lot.
How many fresh signups from that?
Oh, per month or
Total? Because you got these numbers, but like as a
yeah.
ratio.
So it's like, well, it's basically like we're getting 7,500 signups a month now, and probably 7,000 of them are coming from this lead magnet.
Man, I mean,
So-
shit. I'm sure they'll buy something at some point if this is pretty aggressive lead magnet.
That's the thing. They're not like.
Is it because they're still in the email sequence? I mean, most of them.
No,
you're not
they're
even
definitely
sending
getting
this-
all the emails. They're definitely getting.
But you're not
they
even
don't-
sending. If they're newly opt-in, you're
I-
not sending the pitch to them.
I dropped all these people. So earlier this month, I dropped all these people into the 5 Learning Mistakes course, and it was 10% as effective as it would be if they signed up for it.
Interesting.
So that means that this, like, our best sales funnel, when I take these leads and put them into that, our best sales funnel, it works 1/10 as well as it was for the front end. So that means that these people are like probably 10 to 20% as valuable as what we were getting before. We're getting twice as many of them, but we need to get 10 times as many.
Right.
To offset the cruft that we're getting. So
Okay.
I don't know, and it's not like the open rates have really dropped off that much either. So I honestly don't know what it is about these people, but it's just it's the offer. Like, it's something about the offer is
It's
just
got
not.
that freeloader mindset. That
It must be.
it may also be that we're advertising to get the book free, and then they're like, so they're thinking of free, and then they're like, maybe we're pissing some of them off. Maybe they're like, oh,
We are
this
pissing
isn't
some of
free.
them off.
This is not a free book. I want a free book. This is emails.
We are getting some of that. We get probably a few times a week, maybe once a day. So maybe like 0.5% or 1% of people will reply and say, "Hey, where's the PDF? I thought I was getting a PDF," which I never said.
Right.
Like,
So, but 1% replying is a big number because a lot of it is just silent majority who's probably feeling the same thing. They just don't care to reply. They just tune out.
possibly. I mean, the open rates for the emails haven't really dropped. Like, the activity and the open rates are still look the same. But yeah, I mean, I think whatever it is, I think for now I'm gonna go back to
The 5 mistakes. learned.
yeah, probably. I'm gonna see. I mean, if it converts at half as well, but we'll make more revenue off of it on the front end, and then
Yeah.
it
I mean,
seems
the
like
other
people
thing,
are more valuable. So
the other thing would be to test would be to pull the chapter out or whatever and make it like lead magnet based on.
no, that's what I'm gonna do that next. But for right now, that's more of a time commitment. So I think for right now, I might just go back to what was working.
Yeah.
So the other thing I discovered this week is that you sell more stuff if you don't disable the Pay Now button on your sales form. This is like
Absolute genius.
Yeah, I know. I'm shocked, but yeah. So I don't know when this happened or how long this has been happening exactly, but I discovered our sales have just been our product sales have been way down the last couple weeks, and I've been trying to figure out why. And so I went through and I realized that for some reason, when you use the discount code from the emails, when you click the discount code, you go to the order form and WooCommerce is graying out the place order button.
Shit.
Really? Seriously? So I figured out, it was a the problem was a tweak that I put in place a while ago.
You
put
were
in a little.
high?
No, I put in a snippet of PHP in WooCommerce to hide the coupon code on the checkout page, basically. And the way that I copy and pasted the code, so there you go. But the reason, like, it was returning something invalid from an AJAX request, basically, and killing, like, the UI is supposed to temporarily gray out that button update, and then when it refreshes, it re-enables it, but it wasn't re-enabling it. So all fixed. Yeah, all fixed. Yeah, and then yesterday our revenue jumped to like $700.
Shit.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. No, that's cool.
That's all right. That only cost us like I don't know, maybe
only a
$6,000 or
few
$7,000.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the same with the mentor toughness promotion, right? That night for 2 hours, it literally went blackout. People could not, like, if people clicked on the buy now button, it just takes them to this page where it says the offer is expired and there's nowhere to buy anymore. It's like, we're just so. And I'm telling John, I'm like, John, sales are not coming. Something is wrong. John's like, no, it's all right. It's all right. They'll come. And for an hour, they're not coming. And John's like, it's all right. It'll come. I'm like, what the hell, man? Then I go back home. I'm checking. I'm like, shit, I can't believe this happened.
Smoke testing. We need smoke testing.
There's the I don't know. There's so many things that can break. I mean, you really could employ like a part-time person or a full-time person, like testing something if it has any complexity at all. Like that definitely. Oh, the other thing that happened was I updated a plugin on WooCommerce, and it for some reason only on the sales pages it completely broke Google Analytics. So I have no tracking for, like, on the sales pages only. Like every other page on the site was fine. Only on the sales pages, I have no tracking from Google Analytics for the month of March. Like, really? Like I was trying to calculate some conversion rates on some of my tests, and I have no data. I'm like, oh, this is, I don't know.
Well, at least we know that I was starting to get scared when I was looking at the revenue on the daily.
Yeah,
I think at least we know that was it.
I think, John, between that, so I'm also today I'm getting one-click upsells back in place. I'm gonna get that fixed.
Okay.
And then between that and I think we might, if I turn 5 learning mistakes back on, I think we might be back up above, like, in the 18 to 20K a month range at least.
Okay, good.
The reason that we dropped lower than that was because our traffic dropped so much. Like last fall, that was the main factor, was that our traffic dropped way off.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys. I'm going to be doing the Focus at the Will promotion soon. The music guys. I'm trying to figure out some upsells other than just the book summary, upsell and bumps. And I was thinking of like morning ritual as one of them, and a meditation course is one of them. You guys got any other ideas, better ideas to do that?
So this is the Focus app that you download, right?
Yeah, you can have it on your phone or your computer, but it's like music, Focus music. That's what they sell. That's what their list is.
And you're selling them the productivity or mental toughness?
Productivity book summaries.
How much time do you have for the promotion?
He said let's finish it off before April 15th, so a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So people who are listening to music in order to focus, I'm assuming meditation would be a really good place to take them, right? Seems like a pretty close tie-in.
Yeah, definitely the meditation one. I'm trying to think what else.
The other on my mind was morning ritual, but I'm looking for other things as well, like to just keep taking it up.
One thing you could do would be to go to like Reddit or something, like I'm sure there's productivity forums on there, and just sort by the most popular threads and like see if anything pops up to you. Okay. Because like this is the type of thing where if we can sit and we can try to think of stuff, but there's a good chance that we wouldn't come up with something that would be killer. but you might get something if you look at what people are actually gravitating toward. There might even be like specific. There might be a Reddit for this app, or focus improvement type of forum or something.
It's focus improvement. That's right, focus improvement. So, what could it be?
But that would be where I'd start.
Yeah, I mean, a bigger productivity course would be a big upsell, like just like on 10 productivity techniques type of course or something like that, and procrastination type of course, or like how to stop procrastinating.
So a good bonus. And procrastination, a course by itself.
Okay, here's one. Here's a good upsell. Okay, so have you interviewed Steven Pressfield before?
Haven't.
Okay, you got to get him. It's just some audio of Steven Pressfield saying, "You lazy motherfucker, get up, fucking get to work now, motherfucker."
How about I hire you to do that?
No, it has to be Steven Pressfield. He has like for 30 minutes of him just yelling at you, telling you how lazy you are.
You and I know Steven Pressfield pretty well, but the problem is the general public just may not know who he is. And like the book reading crowd is a very small crowd of the whole population, more or less. So
yeah.
By the way, Steven Pressfield, I approached him. He just ended up sending me 20 books instead of getting on an interview. So I have 20 books that I want to give out to people. But he didn't, at that time, he didn't sign up for it, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if you tell him my idea, I think.
Okay, so maybe a little better idea.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of things like, so a lot of productivity people, or people who are looking for productivity, are looking for life hacks and things like that. So you could give them just a list of 10 life hacks, that you found on the internet you think will, help people be more productive. You also talk about morning rituals. So you could have an upgrade like that where it's, here's some ideas of things that you can add to your morning ritual.
I'm definitely creating a morning ritual upgrade course, and it'll also be sold on my website. And I'm also creating a meditation course. So those are definitely on my list.
Yeah. Life hacks. If you're trying to be productive, another one is delegation or automation, which is kind of life hacks, kind of not life hacks. But yeah, those are some ideas as well.
Yeah, the one thing that came to mind for me, and this, I don't know that I would really suggest this because I've not seen them work off terribly well, but like some kind of bundle of other people's products, where you basically just go to like 5 other people that have courses and just give them a fixed percentage of the upsell value, and then you just sell all their stuff as one package.
I need to have a relationship with these guys to be able to do that.
Well, it would be hard to put together quickly.
Oh, what about your learning course? What's your learning course?
10 steps to learn anything quickly.
What do you think? I'm sure you would think it would. I don't know.
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, I could split the revenue with you guys, whatever I get. Well, now we're getting into a fucking 8-way split. Let me explain why. Because Focused will take half, but then.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking too. Why I was thinking it was not really a great.
Yeah, it might. It might go crazy. I can't talk about another person who was involved in this whole thing, so it gets kind of crazy at that point. But the learning hacks is probably still a good one. Like, if someone's into focus, they're definitely like, what's the end result they're looking for? They're looking to be more productive. Hopefully, possibly they're also looking to learn faster.
Well,
to-
if you okay, but the thing is, keep in mind that everyone who actually in any way enters your sales funnel is going to be automatically interested in productivity, because because you're doing the productivity course. So you're self-selecting. They're going to self-select.
Sure.
So you're safe doing anything around productivity, because you've taken the focus people and you've pulled out the productivity geeks, which are, I mean, they're junkies too. That's the other thing is, so I would definitely, you're definitely thinking along the right, like 2 or 3 upsells on this would not be too much, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe they're pretty rabid crowd. Ironically, they're all ADD. That's the problem. That's why they're into productivity. So you're just gonna feed the ADD.
Yay!
Buy this. Buy this. Buy this.
I'm gonna help them a lot. The more they invest, the more they are interested.
Give them little badges, and when they buy all the upsells, they collect all the badges.
Achievement unlocked.
How many badges you don't have, and how many.
You guys are not helping.
Sorry.
That's what we do. I mean, don't do. I mean, whatever.
Oh man. Yeah, I guess I will.
I mean, I think that you might be overthinking this a little bit by trying to think of. I would keep hitting the productivity theme, as much as possible, right? So they're buying.
So
they're
finding
buying
a niche inside of productivity to sell. For.
Yeah, just keep offering them more stuff on productivity, and if you're going to sell meditation, sell it because this is going to help you be more productive.
Yeah.
So just keep going on that thread. And, I think, if you've got if you've got an in-card bump and 2 upsells, you're going to probably get most of the revenue that's there to get. So the other thing would be to have I think the biggest potential win, throwing another small upsell on there will help a little bit. But if you had something really big, like $1,000 thing that you could stick on the end, I think that would be potentially where you could get another big chunk of revenue.
See, that's the problem with stuff like this. When they're coming from another person's list, it's different if I'm trying to upsell on my list, right? Because they know me and we can they'll build a relationship with possibly likely to buy. But with $1,000 product, we're talking some sort of coaching or something along those lines, right?
Right.
Usually.
They don't know this guy yet to be able to plunk down the $1,000. I was thinking initially maybe just coaching call of some sort to help them with this stuff. But even then I was like, well, they don't know me at all. So why would they want to get coached in any way, shape, or form? The book
it wouldn't hurt to stick it on the end. I bet you that you get, if you get enough people going through, you are going to get somebody to take you up on that, or a couple of them. I mean, if you get 200 or 300 people to go through, I would not be surprised at all if you sold 1 or 2 of those. But it's definitely a tougher sale to make that, but the thing is, they've already said yes a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So
at the very least, that one guy will buy it, and then he'll ask for a refund later and say, "It wasn't doing what I expected it to do for me."
But yeah, sorry, man. That's the best I can suggest. Is get. It sounds like you've got 1 or 2 that are good.
Yeah.
That follow on that same thread. So if you can come up with 1 more, that's probably plenty.
Yeah.
And just keep hammering on the productivity thing. Don't don't try to introduce a new theme into it. They're already thinking, along those routes.
It's funny though we say that. Russell Brunson in .com Secrets, he talks about the fact that when it comes to upsell, it's really hard to sell the same thing again, like same idea again. It's almost like better to go a little bit away because people have already satisfied the itch
Oh, I
of
see.
that thing that they came for. So they're like, I already bought productivity. I don't need more productivity. But something else is much more likely to sell well. That's Russell's thing on from like he talks a lot about it in that book. That those upsells are much better. And he is a freaking crazy maniac tester, right? He's like us. He has all his numbers down. He does all sorts of detailed testing. And he was saying that it's even better if you're like hitting them on another angle because then you're satisfying a different itch, which was very intriguing.
That's not been my experience. Like with our stuff, the best upsell conversion that we have is the blogging workbook to make more money with your blog. And then everything else we've done has been like, we haven't built anything else that was purpose built, like sequential to build on the same theme. And they work, like people do buy, yes, but not nearly as well as that with that specific funnel. That conversion rate is pretty high.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think possibly I think you could probably test a few things and find something that would be better. But I think like as the first cut, if you're having to do it blind, like if it was me and I had to do it blind and I said like product A, what should I sell for product B? Something, fairly unrelated could work better, but the chances are that it's going to be a miss.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have like, people that are interested in productivity, there's got to be a large overlap between those people and whatever the next thing is. And if you guess wrong,
maybe it's an adjunct real result, not completely different results, because then you throw them off. You can't sell lingerie and then try to sell cars at the same time.
Exactly.
It's going to be a little difficult. But we were selling freaking mental toughness book summaries and then productivity book summaries as a bump. And they were selling like crazy when we introduced that up. Bump.
Right. Yeah.
25% people were taking us up on that.
Right.
It just shows that they're just book lovers. They would basically love to learn.
Right. So not the most helpful.
No, it's good. It's good. It's at least helped me clarify my thoughts. So it's good.
You could also sell something along entrepreneurship lines too, right? Like that, potentially how to start a business.
Yeah, you think that would work with that crowd?
Yeah, so that's where I'm thinking potentially you end up with a mismatch, like a smaller. To me, that's too big of a jump.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Chuck, we got to do the productivity thing sometime.
Yeah.
How big is your list now?
15,000.
Okay. All right. So
I know a lead magnet that could grow that a lot faster.
What's that?
The book. I'm just joking about this.
Yeah. The lead magnet that works on everyone's website.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's the one where you give them, where you put your email here, and I'll give you $100 bill.
Oh shit!
Nice.
In the form of 5 copies of the book.
Yeah, there you go.
5 copies of the PDF.
Yeah.
The PDF is that thick, though.
Exactly. Each PDF copy is worth $20, so 5 copies make it $100.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, but these guys keep changing the price, so.
Yeah.
So this week's been interesting. I did React Dev Summit. I have 2 more talks to go today, and then we're done with that. I was going to do JavaScript JS Dev Summit in May, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a plan to launch it and then figure out how long that'll take, and then do it whenever it makes sense based on that plan. Because I didn't really publicize this one well. And so I didn't get that great a turnout. And I think if I just sit down and, go through a couple of people's ideas of how a good launch goes and then pull all that stuff together, I think things get a lot. I think I can make them work to grow my list and do all the things that I want them to do. So yeah, so that's been fun. I also found out that the way that I submitted the podcast, the React podcast and the Vue podcast to iTunes doesn't work anymore. So I had to go through the other way, the way that everybody else does it.
Oh.
But now they're not showing up on the devchat.tv page in iTunes. So go figure. So yeah, so that's been fun too. And then I should show you guys this. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. So I changed some of the management stuff for the podcast sponsorships. Where's that screen share? And this has really kind of opened my eyes and made me get a little bit more focused on things. So I added, so this is just the podcast placements page. And so I have 118 filled placements. This is over the next 13 weeks, and 266 open placements.
Yeah. And I like the available inventory value.
Yeah, that's a kicker, isn't it? That's how much money I'm leaving on the table by not filling these spots.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's over the next 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
13 weeks is what I figured, but yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, so now I've been able to look at this and go, okay, here's what I need to do to, to just hammer this out. So these are all the planned episodes, and I'm still, I've got to put, because I've recorded more episodes for some of these shows, so I've got to figure that out. But anyway, so yeah, so that's kind of gotten my attention. I need to be a little bit more.
So you're only at like 30% capacity.
Yeah, I'm at 30% capacity, 30.7% capacity.
Nice.
And so I figure if I could double, my fill rate, then things are going to be pretty good. The other thing is if you look at this number, and if you went and looked at my profit and loss, I'm pretty much right on track with what I was at last year.
Right.
Because you just multiply that by 4, and that's about, gross income for the business. So this is really kind of getting my attention too, because, if I can push this from 30% to even 40 or 50%,
right.
That's a significant increase.
Yep.
The other thing is that I do have companies out there waiting in the wings to pick up some of these. So I had somebody just contact me about JavaScript Jabber, for example. So, if I can fill a bunch of these pre-rolls, then, things are looking pretty solid there. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about the possibilities here, and just been working out, where I want to head and things like that. And I'm back on doing the 12-week year. And so basically my focuses are because the other thing is I need more. I don't have enough time to do everything. So
right.
My main focuses are to reach out to 20 companies every week for podcast sponsorship. And then I just need to, stay on top of the follow-up. The other thing that I'm going to do is I've got to, in fact, I basically just set a goal to increase the revenue over the next 12 weeks to $70,000. And so if this is what I can expect over 13 weeks from sponsorships, then I need to increase this and do other things. So I'm going to be, I got to finish re-recording the videos for that Get a Job course. I'm about halfway done, but I got sick, and then I had more stuff come up with my dad, and it just didn't happen. But I'll probably be able to get it done next week. So if I can get that managed, and then I'm also looking to increase the listenership of the shows by 20%. And I think I can do that. I just need to be more diligent about doing the outreach afterward. So, just make sure they all get posted to social media, make sure that the guests and hosts know how to share it. I'm trying to think of other ways to promote them. I think going on other podcasts is a good idea.
Yeah.
And then I talked about the Alexa briefings, and I decided that what I'm going to do, my echo just turned off. But if I do the briefings, I'm kind of planning on doing those on YouTube. And so I'm hoping to get some of that traffic to cross over between them.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. But I don't know. Are there other ways to increase traffic to the podcasts?
If you just went on other podcasts, I mean, collabs are the most explosive growth channel I've seen time and time again on my YouTube every time. So
You think
there's
so?
nothing like a collab, nothing like getting on another podcast or something like that.
I'm trying to decide if I do that though. Like, so part of me thinks if I finish this course on how to get a job, then I could basically go and do the collabs on that topic, and then just tell people about the shows. Is that essentially how you pull those together? Or?
Doesn't have to be. I mean, you can just get on the podcast and they will still come and listen to you, and over time they'll buy your other stuff.
Yeah, but usually on a podcast they want, they may want to just interview me about my background, but beyond that, usually there's some kind of topic. And so
you are framing the story that you want. Whatever
Right.
story you want, you can frame that in that frame of reference, in that Java frame of reference, or whatever it is. Beyond that, it's up to you how you take wherever you want to take it. Is up to you. If you want a call to action to be, come check out my podcast, that'll increase your podcast listenership.
Right.
And that's what you want, then you'll get that.
That makes sense.
Because you said you want to increase by 20%. I think if you got on enough podcasts, you'd increase it by more than 20% just because of the nature of collabs. People
Right.
become aware of a new podcast and they come.
Yeah, and I think I have enough pull with enough of the tech podcasting community to where I can probably just get on the shows.
Yeah.
But I think some of them are going to be asking me, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah,
You could-
well, frame the story.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one topic that every single podcaster is going to be interested in talking about is podcasting
Uh-huh.
in general, and you could talk about your podcast network empire of tech podcasts,
Yeah, that's true.
just like how it is running all these different shows and all that kind of stuff. I think that would be an interesting topic, and what you've learned from interviewing like literally hundreds of people in the tech industry, right?
That's
And
true.
I think there's a lot of stuff there. Like that's how I'd sell it, is because then because what you really want to make people aware of is not that you have one podcast, right? It's or any particular podcast. You want to make them aware of the Dev Chat TV podcast network, like the place to find high quality tech podcasts that are going to have the same level of quality and that you can find all in one place, right? So
I would sell it the other way. I would actually not go down the path that John is suggesting, because then you're attracting a very different kind of audience. What John is suggesting would attract more like an entrepreneurial audience who are interested in podcasting and stuff like that. I would say you frame the story around, hey, if you just want to learn more about Angular and Java and all those things, then I have all these podcasts for you. Because that way you're attracting a much wider net of the developers who listen to your kind of stuff.
Right.
right, yeah, that's essentially what I'm saying, is like the people that he's contacting that are listening to the podcast he'll be interviewing on, he'll be trying to get them to go to his podcast network, not to a specific podcast.
No, but I'm saying he should be framing the story towards the end listener, not towards the
I see. Yeah,
podcaster,
Yeah.
because those are the people you want to attract ultimately.
true.
So I could go on and talk about, I could spend some time talking about just how podcasts are done, but I could also talk about, how to make the most of your learning experience with podcasts or something like that. And
Well, I would think more from the end user perspective. Who is your avatar and what would they get the most value from? That's what you want to tell them. So I don't think they will get the most value from the fact that you can have all these podcast networks and all that stuff. They will just get value from the fact that you can learn all these things when you come to our podcast.
Right. Yep.
Or do the Jerry Springer tour. Talk about Ruby Rogues. Tell the story, the untold story.
Oh man, there
So-
are some untold stories. that
So
are
check.
doozies.
I'm gonna hit this from a completely different angle. Do you have that dashboard pulled up in front of you again?
Yeah.
If you want to grow your revenue by 20%, what's the shortest way? What's the shortest path to that? That getting that fill rate from 30 to 40% is right now if you get more listeners, like you're going to be able to increase your rates, but
No,
How
I have
much-
both of those as goals over the next 12 weeks.
Okay, well, I think you're only going to be able to do one of them now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess one of them will happen automatically, right? The other one will take some effort, and you have
Well,
more control over.
Well, no. In this case,
So-
it's both.
Yeah,
the-
if we're talking revenue, honestly, my best bet is to go back to all of my past sponsors and see if I can get them to sign on, because they already know what they're getting. And if I can get that fill rate up to 40%, then my math is really bad. But
you'll be off by a factor of 10.
But what's your goal? Your goal fill rate should be like 75% all the time, right?
yeah,
So that should.
but if I
inform your
even raise
discounting.
it from, if I raise it from 30 to 40, that gets me to almost 60,000.
So do this. Do this. Your prices are too high, right? Like discount all of your inventory until you hit a 75% fill rate consistently. At which point raise the price.
But Chuck's not getting his close rates are super high.
Right.
right?
So go
I
back
think I
to
need
your
to just talk to more people, honestly.
Yeah, talk to more people and then go back to your existing customers and tell them, say, hey, I'm sitting at what 60% open inventory right now. I've got a bunch of slots. You want a discount? You want a really good deal? I'll give you these what do they call them in the print industry? The
remnant space.
The remnants for 50% off. Right, let's sign up. Come on, let's do it now.
Okay,
And,
all right,
and just get that fill rate all the way up. That's the fastest thing that you can do. That's going to just put money in your pocket.
I would start by talking to them. There's a couple ways you can do this. So I would start by talking to them and trying to sell it at full price.
Yes.
And then put together a rolling list of use it or lose it space that's coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you discount.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but
so put people on a list and say, hey, like, hey, Mr. Sponsor, I do like these discounted offers occasionally. If you'd like, can I put you on this list? And I'm going to have a list in Drip, and you send out a weekly newsletter with like, here's all my remnant space. And you've got 200 marketing directors on that list, and they can just go and buy that space now, or it's going to be gone. And like, that way you're not discounting, you're not offering your potential best customers a discount up front, but you're still able to recapture some of the value that you're losing right now. Because it's like, like the airlines, I don't know, maybe they do. They don't discount seats that are like, 3 months down the road. They can sell those at full price. But like the stuff that's coming up tomorrow, like that, that's what goes on Priceline.
They do if their inventory is too high. If it's below their predicted for that particular time period. But I mean, my point is you need to have your fill rate at 75%, right? Like whatever it is. So however that you're going to do that, and then you can always raise prices. So take it this way, right? If you're selling that, if you obviously don't discount to your main sponsors that you're able to sell at full price. But after that, like where you're sitting right now, just start selling out spaces. Even like consider this, right? Like Josh and I, like Simple Programmer, we wouldn't be able to afford your full price, right? But we could probably we'd probably advertise the book at some level of pricing, right? And that just use us as an example, right? Like, if we're willing to do it at like, I don't know, whatever, 50%, 25% of what your list price is, then there's a lot of other people that are willing to do that as well. And it's an easy sell, right? Because then we know we can make the money on it. And we can't permanently set up this because we know that you're eventually going to, fill up. But as long as you're not filling up to 75%, and I use the number 75% because you don't want to have like a 90% full rate, because you want to be able to actually raise the prices. But if your goal is 75, that just informs you how much you can discount. I mean, you might as well discount things super, super low, because some money is better than no money. Because once those episodes do not have the slots filled, it's just, if you would have gotten $100 for it, it would have been better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
especially since you've got the whole thing automated now, or almost automated.
One thing that I'm concerned about, though, is we're talking about this remnant space. I don't want people waiting every 2 weeks to pick up remnant space. I don't want everybody doing that.
Well, you don't make it known.
If your pipeline is wide enough, though, I don't think that really matters. I mean, newspapers and magazines have been doing this for 100 years or 200, close to 200 years. So actually, that would be an interesting thing to if you don't know anybody that are like in the traditional media sales space, to like develop some relationships with those people and find out more about how they work. But you will have some people, but then you're going to have some people that want to have like a 3-month. They want to have a 3-month calendar planned out, and they don't want to have to be there. The nickel and dimers are the ones that are going to wait for a deal. But
Exactly.
Linode's like they've got a budget and they're going to spend it. So
partly what I'm hearing though from Chuck is that you haven't even made a pretty concerted effort yet.
Right. I need to be consistent about filling the spots at regular price.
Yeah.
And then I can look at some of this stuff.
Exactly.
I will tell you that the post rolls. So what you're talking about here, like the last spot in the show, I almost never fill those. Almost never. Those are really hard for me to fill. And usually what winds up happening is that I will make a deal with somebody and just be like, look, I messed this stuff up. So I'm gonna throw in 3-4, post rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Drop the price on post roll because people are not excited about it as much.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, like, use your close rate as the guide. So, if you can get to the point where you're starting to get no's, then yeah, maybe you need to figure something out with pricing. But right now, like, your close rate's like 80%.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
It's more just you need to get more people in the pipeline. So
yeah. And I'm wondering too how much inventory you're talking, because you could just pay someone on commission. You could say, hey, look, there's this much inventory. It's almost like debt collection. Whatever you can get for it, you get 25% of that.
Yeah.
So, and then it's just their job to fill that. Like, you just tell them you can't poach my existing. It has to be new customers only. You can't poach any. Here's the list of people you cannot talk to. Right. And whatever you get for it, you get 25%. So if you want to do it for cheap, then you're getting 25% of that. If you get good prices, you get 25% of that. Right.
It would be interesting. Do you know anybody who's like, I think the perfect person for this would be somebody who's like in the developer evangelist role. Because they would have the relationships already. Because you need somebody who's like, I think you need somebody who's from the industry, or at least understands the industry, and knows how to talk to people that work at software companies. And it would be nice if they had some marketing savvy as well. I've been like, I'm not sure that you want to just hire a regular sales guy, who sold Snap-on tools or something.
No, you want someone who sells who has experience selling like magazine, ad placement specialist, right? Like someone who's done this before, because it's the same thing to them, whether they're selling it in a golf magazine or they're selling it on
okay. So Chuck, I mean, let me ask you simple. How many customers do you have on your list right now? Like, do you have a list of people you need to approach, and out of which you have approached X percentage, or
I have a pretty long list. I have a couple hundred companies that I need to work through.
And how many of them have you approached already? All of them?
No.
So, I mean, it's almost like you've got templates that you just sent to them, right?
Yeah, I just need to put them back in the top of the pipeline.
Yeah, but that seems like the best. Yeah, just start hitting the pavement. That
that's the plan.
Instead of worrying about increasing your listenership, you just increase your revenue by increasing the revenue.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to increase the listenership as well, but the thing is that I can turn Michelle loose on. Okay, go find programming podcasts and see if they want to have me on. And here are a couple of topics I'm willing to talk about. Because then if I'm spending an hour here or an hour there talking to somebody on their show, that then that doesn't it doesn't really pull away from the rest of this stuff. And then if I can commit to doing, as far as the course goes, I have people that have bought it that are waiting for the rest of the re-recordings. So, if I can spend an hour a day doing that, and then the rest of my time that I'm not spending just managing podcast stuff, or getting Michelle up to speed so she can do some of the rest of the stuff that I'm doing. If I spend the rest of my time chasing sponsorships, then I should be able to fill this out pretty fast.
Yeah, the reason, I think that going on podcasts and stuff is probably beneficial to some level, but the amount of growth, I mean, you've already got a lot of traction. And okay, so if you go on a podcast, right? So like Ruby Rogues, okay? How many other podcasts are there out there where you're going to be able to go on and get much bigger exposure to the right people than what you've already got? Like it's going to be, you're going to, maybe one appearance grows your audience by like, I don't know, 0.5% or 1%. I mean, I know I've been on podcasts and I'll get like 10 email signups.
No. Yeah.
And so, so it's like, that's a very long, slow process. So, it might take you 6 months to grow at 10% because you're already kind of mature. Like you've already got a mature podcast. So honestly, I think what you're doing as far as launching new podcasts is probably better because those are going to get traction quickly because you're filling an unmet need, and then focus on your fill rate.
Okay, here you go. Let's combine the two. Honestly, I agree. I don't think that getting on podcasts is really going to move your bottom line at all. I just like you're growing organically through your podcast. I don't think you're going to just extend your reach. But if you disagree, here's a simple way to do this. Instead of trying to get on podcasts and talk on the podcast, why don't you go to the biggest podcasts that you can find that have big audiences and offer them advertising space on your podcast in exchange for advertising space on their podcast. Then you can get rid of your unfilled inventory and put it to use, and you don't even have to you can basically multiplex yourself because you don't even have to be there and record an interview.
Well, that's interesting. I definitely know a few people like that. So
and they'd be glad, and synergistic. They'd be glad to be exposed to your audience as well. So
yeah.
I think I should do that. I like that idea. Now John's gonna.
It only took us 25 minutes to get there.
There we go.
Yeah, but I like that approach too.
Yeah.
And I may be able to do one or the other, right? Would you like to have me as a guest, or would you like to do the swap, the space swap?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely focus on the inventory.
Yeah, I think that's really where my focus needs to be.
There's really I guess there's three fronts, right? There's filling the inventory, there's increasing the value of the current inventory, and then there's new inventory. So new inventory is new podcasts. Increasing the listenership is increasing the value of what you've got, and then filling the inventory is that's the lowest hanging fruit, and then launching new podcasts is probably the next easiest thing to do.
Yeah, I've had some ideas
compared to all of these.
So one other thing that I've been considering, and this is something, I know we're way over time, sorry, but I would like feedback on this as well. So I've gotten a lot of feedback and a lot of requests about content for junior developers. Like every time I ask listeners of the other shows, what do you want to hear more of? We want more content for junior developers. And those shows, I mean, we try and make it, broadly applicable to people. So if they're brand new, they can at least follow some of the content. But we don't really cater down to, you don't understand some of these concepts, so we're going to explain them. So I have kind of been playing with the idea of putting together a junior developer community and basically just, how do I put it? So I would do a podcast for them and just talk about, some concept that they need to understand for career or, a tech skill or something, so I would talk about something that they need to know for 10 minutes every week, or maybe 20 minutes. I don't know. I'd still figure that out. It wouldn't be a panel. It would just be me. So I just sit down and record a whole bunch of them. But then I've also thought about having some kind of junior developer club or something. And so then I would pull together workshops every month and things like that, so that people can come in depth get more stuff, and it would just be a subscription thing. But I'm a little worried about how much time it would take, and I kind of need to focus on these other areas. And so I'm trying to decide when and how to approach this. I mean, once I have things clicking along with the sponsorships, should I revisit this, or I mean, recording the podcast, I could do that now, and it would take me, a couple hours to get a month or two out, and then once I have a listenership, then I can start promoting the, developer club or whatever. I don't know.
Don't do anything besides fill inventory right now. Yeah. Until you hit 75% filled inventory, then you need more inventory. So then you can either get more listener or increase the value of the inventory or build new podcasts like that. I would make that just a metric now that you can see it in your business. Now that it's so apparent, it's like the most effective thing you can do is fill inventory. Like just have a metric. Like I do not create any new podcasts or any new inventory until I fill the existing inventory at such and such percentage fill rate, and that should be your metric, because that's like number one most effective. Like literally, I'm viewing $100 bills just sitting on the floor, and you're like, what should I do? Should I pick these up, or should I go and look for more $100 bills? And I'm like, pick up the $100 bills that are on the floor.
Pick up those hundos.
Yeah. I mean, 12-week year, does it advocate like having 3 to 5 goals for the quarter, or is it more like one goal? Because 4DX says one goal, one VIG, one widely important goal.
They don't really specify, and I have some things that I'm trying to do personally as well. But
in business,
but my business coach says 3 max.
Yeah, I would say 1 is good.
And so, I think I can make this one my big.
Yeah, and Chuck. Yeah, I would say that.
The only other one, so the third one I didn't mention, was just getting all of the processes finished and automated or delegated. And that opens up. I mean,
I would focus on the processes related to your main goal.
Yeah.
So like the sales stuff.
If you double the revenue, you can hire people to do all that shit for you.
Yeah. Well, and I have somebody that's doing a lot of this stuff for me. So the rest of this just is I'm doing this thing. I shouldn't be doing this thing. I'm just going to record a video of me doing this thing and then say, please do this, and write up a procedure for it.
Yep.
And that way I don't have to, I'm not spending more than 5 or 10 minutes more than I would have anyway doing whatever it is that I need done.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, it'd be the number 3, or the 3 of them would be: number 1, fill inventory; number 2, hire a salesperson to actually fill inventory for you; number 3, automate everything that you can that you're doing manually right now. Because the other one is like getting that salesperson. You need to get someone that can actually continually fill inventory for you. Otherwise, you're going to be on this treadmill all the time.
Right.
I have no idea how to do that.
Well, that's you figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and I just on the whole beginner thing, I would be very cautious going down that route, because at least for us, and I imagine it's probably this way for you too, like 2/3 of our audience is like already somewhat established. So
yeah, that's fair.
That in mind, our beginner developers, the types who are going, like, are they going to be looking for a podcast like this, or even looking for podcasts, like, I think that's probably something that they're going to be more likely going to be looking for Udemy courses than podcasts, because the podcasts are talking about code on a podcast. Like, if you're brand new, you need to like see the squiggly lines on the screen, right? You can't, like, you don't understand, like, you can't have a conversation about solid principles until the stuff that's more abstract that you talk about on podcasts is like almost requires a certain level of expertise. So just it might not even be that good of a fit. So
yeah, I wouldn't be talking specifically about code. I would be talking more about tools and how to learn and things like that. But I agree. I mean, this is something that I think would benefit. And there are a lot of people out there who are looking for this, and they have a pretty, if you're talking about people that have a real pain that they're extremely aware of, it's that group. But yeah, I need to figure some more things out about it first, and I can definitely focus on that in the next 12 weeks, because I need to get this other stuff nailed down first. Because if I can get these processes out of my hair, and I can get the podcast sponsorships filled, then that opens me up to be able to attack something else next time. And so it could be that, it could be doing better on the conferences. It could be, there are a couple of other things. that are kind of big things in my business that I need to attack. But I think you guys are right. I think mainly it's spending time on the sponsorships, getting as much of the sponsorship stuff off my plate as possible, and then just freeing up any other time that I can, so that I can focus on this main thing.
Set up your app so that it emails you that number every day.
Yeah.
I'm completely serious. I'm completely serious. So that it's the first thing you see every morning.
Hit Slack notification.
Yeah, there you go.
Slacker.
I can get a recording of Stephen Pressfield telling you.
What
All
the
right.
effing hell, man?
Shall we do thoughts?
I want that recording.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll go with one of my favorite Gary Halbert quotes is the decision to refund is made before the purchase is committed. And so we had this guy, Marcelo. I forget his last name, or I would say it. So he signed
Public
up.
shaming. I love it.
Yes. Oh, yes. We would be shaming him. So he signed up for something on our site, and I think he might have read the book actually, John. And then he came to the site, and I think he signed up for the toolkit. And like he seems like he's easily confused because he got lost in the maze of our automation. And he wrote like he was writing us like twice a day, like. He wrote these long emails, and the first one was like, I really want to like John. And this was addressed to John, to John, right? I really want to like you, John, but blah, 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 blah. And he's got like 10 bullet points of all the things that are like broken on our site, and like, all how we're scamming this and scamming that, and how the 10 steps program is just like, the sales page looks like an infomercial, blah, 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 on and on and on. And so he kept asking about buying 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly. And Rodrigo was like answering his questions very patiently. And we were just kind of like running, this run. It was like a running joke all week. And then finally he bought 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly. And I saw it come through, and I was like, Rodrigo, like any you want to put a bet on how quickly he refunds this thing? And like, it was less than 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
And the moron, he watched the entire thing. He went through the whole thing in one day and refunded. And so we banned him. He's just like, I unsubscribed him. He's banned from the shopping cart. He's dead to us now. But yeah, so I mean, you're gonna get customers like that, and you can usually smell it. Like if somebody's a problem before they buy, they're probably going to be more of a problem after they buy. So
yeah, I had this customer who was like, hey, by the way, you don't have the audio version. Hey, by the way, you don't have the audio version downloadable. Hey, by the way. So I made all these concessions for him.
Yeah.
And 3 months later, he's like, oh, by the way, can I get a refund because I don't have the time? Initially, he said, I don't have the time because I can't watch the videos. So can you give me the audio? So I gave him the audios. Then he's like, oh, I don't have the time to go, listen to the audios. Can you make them downloadable? So all right, make them downloadable. Everything. And now he's like, oh, I got kids and a job, and I'll have time for the next 2 years. I'm like, dude, you got access to this for a lifetime. He's like, but yeah, I still think I want a refund. I'm like, yeah, you probably downloaded everything, and now you just are asking for a refund.
Oh, by the way, so I shortened our refund policy from 1 year to 90 days, and our refunds have gone up.
Okay. Well, I guess
so.
Put it back to a year.
I'm going to let it go for another month or two, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's increased our refunds.
What's the percentage?
Like we were averaging 4 to 5 refunds a month.
Percent?
4 to 5 total out of our sales. And we're making less. This last 2 months, we've made less sales, and we've had 10 to 12 refunds per month. So like basically the refund percentage went from 2.5% to almost 10%.
Wow.
So I don't know if there's something else going on there, but definitely that hasn't helped. So
365 days to now, what is it?
90 days.
Even 90 days. Wow.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's typically we were getting people that were contacting us, toward the end of the refund. We were getting a few people that would contact us toward the end of the refund period, but now we're seeing people like
right
a
away.
lot more people like right away within the first week, they're like refunding. So
they have a clock ticking.
Yeah. Yep. So I probably will put it back up, but I'm going to let it run for another month or so and see
Yeah.
See what happens. The other possibility is that it's all these career guide people that.
Yeah.
I want to maybe one day we should try lifetime refunds. See what happens.
There you go.
Nice.
So even until you die, you can get a refund.
Your accountant would not like that.
If your children
That's like
ever
a
in the
liability
future-
that extends to forever.
if your children want a refund or their grandchildren,
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
if they're on Mars, you can get a refund.
My father-in-law told me that AutoZone guarantees their brake pads. So if they wear out, you can take them back. But by definition, they're going to wear out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm like, you're serious? He's like, yeah, I get free brake pads every time I change my brake pads. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but see, they don't give you your money back because, like, 2018 money is a little bit different than 2028 money, right? $100.
Right.
That's not the same. Not the same thing.
Well, the brake pads will also increase in price with inflation, right? So they will probably go in price just with the cost of money.
Yeah. Well, no, and the brake pads are still brake pads. They're still commodity.
But their price will keep on increasing over time, just like the cost of money will keep
but
on.
relative to everything else, giving money will be more expensive.
Yeah. Yep. Always.
Yeah. All right.
Somebody else's turn.
My turn. Okay. My thought is that people's mind is not made up. Like a lot of the times we make assumptions about in sales that someone's made up their mind when we're talking to people that their mind is made up, but most of the times their mind is not made up and it's open for change rather than making most of the times what we do is we put ourselves in that situation and say, okay, well, I think their mind is made up, so I might as well end this sales conversation, or their mind is made up, so I think the sale is done. But people's mind is not made up, and we as a leader can lead them. That's it.
I don't know. I'm still, as far as thoughts go, I'm still just digesting what everybody talked about. And I think, honestly, I just want to do kind of a meta thought about masterminds like this. I came in and I was asking about, something else. And, it kind of came back around to, no, you need to focus on this. Now that you know your numbers, you need to focus on this stuff. And I mean, it's extremely valuable to have people who are willing to come back around and say, hey, what you're doing is not in your best interest. We want you to do what's in your best interest. We care about you. We care about your business. We care about what you've got going on. And so if you don't have a group like this, and I'm not always getting this kind of feedback, even from this group, sometimes we're focused on Manny's issues or Josh's issues, or we're ribbing John about being retired, not having anything to do, having people feed him grapes or something. But anyway, having that and having a group of people that are willing to just totally go and say, look, this is what you're dealing with. This is what you've got to focus on. And then just, help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. I think it's extremely important. And a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not, I'm not running a business, Chuck. But I mean, do it for your life goals. Do it for your other things that you have, that you care about, that you're worried about, that you think about. Because if you're not, you're missing out, because people have different experiences. I mean, that's the value of this, right? The value isn't that, John or Manny or Josh have an IQ that's so astronomical that they're just going to always be right about everything.
But that's true.
It is true in your case, Manny. But the real idea is that they've all done things that I haven't done, and they look at some of these things. And then the other thing is I get emotionally invested in what I'm doing. And so I latch on to the ideas that I like instead of the ideas that are right. And so, if you're trying to be a better person, or, increase your spirituality or your service or some other aspect of your life, find people that you can talk through that with, who are going to come and tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and get that. And yeah, that's pretty much my thought.
Let's see. I think mine would be that most of us know like the path to success. Like if we can just actually follow the rules and do, like, you set the course, and then it's just a matter of following it. Like whatever course that you set, you probably already know what course that you can set, what rules that you can set, what the plan is to go forward, and all you have to do is just stick to the damn plan. Right? It's so hard to stick to the damn plan. That's why we fuck up. It's not because we don't know what to do. It's because we can't stick with it. We get ADD. We go over here. We do this. It gets too hard, whatever it is. But if we could just focus and stick to the plan, like most of the time, we already know the answer. We already know what will get us to what we want, the end goal, and we can draw it out. And so the thing to do is to draw it out and then just stick to it religiously. And just hang on until you get through it, and then there you go. So,
yep.
All right. See you guys next week.
Well,
Yep.
Josh,
Yep.
Josh, you got no thoughts today?
No, I already said my thought.
You did, yeah.
I was-
You went first.
I didn't know that was thoughts. Okay. Fair.
Yeah, that was.
Yep. And I'm sorry Josh made us go long.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna
See you
go
guys
put
next
some
week.
upsells in place.
Yeah, there we
All
go.
right.
See you guys.
Bumps and upsells. Yep.